First of all, I use a style of inclusivity. You know, I want you to feel like you're talking to a brother. I need to feel who they are, what they go through, so that I can tap into their energy and then transit it into a work energy. Because when you're mentoring someone, you're not gonna fill them with energy, with knowledge, without understanding who they are personally, at the personal level. Like how old are you? How many are you at home? Do you have both your parents? Where did you grow up from? The kind of environment you grew up from. All that determines so much about who you're gonna mentor. Because you don't want to mentor someone who is already broken, and then you bring up certain things during the mentorship program that will just, they just break them instead of, creating the positivity in them. So the styles were different, but that inclusivity and trying to make sure that they understand me for not being a celebrity, but a brother who's here to help them at any one point. And then also I kept my lines open to them, communication lines, emails, and I gave them some of my WhatsApp number so they can text or reach out anytime they have a question. Because of the limited time, we may not get time to cover everything. I may forget something, but in case you remember anything, please reach out. And I was so glad that most of them reached out whenever they were stuck at something, and also ask a few questions, and I was so happy that they came through to do that. And also sharing my experience of the 12 years in film, as an actor, as a producer, as a filmmaker, as a mentor for other people. And I tell them my challenges, and these are things I've never shared with anyone. And one-on-one, I tell them, these are things that happened to me during my career. I wouldn't want you to go through something like this. They're going to be this and that. But if you ever come across something like this, try to be as principled as you can. Try to be as disciplined as you can. Discipline will take you levels hard work will never ever take you.
From the perspective of an actor, when I'm approached to do a job, the first thing I want to see is a script. So the way that I guided the participants is I wanted them to tell stories that had depth, because very many times there are actors who show up on screen and they're given a bad script and someone says, that was a terrible film. That person is a bad actor. The script is very important. So I was teaching them about how to tell a story that, one, allows people to see themselves in the story that you're telling, a story that allows people to feel accepted, understood. I also encourage them to tell stories that have characters who have layers, Even human beings have layers. So if your characters are not layered, then we need to go back to the drawing board and make sure that everything, there's an inner action, then there's the action that's portrayed. There's depth to your characters. I don't want to feel like I'm just seeing some other thing that I've seen before. I don't want to feel like chewing gum, like you're just chewing something and waiting to spit it out. So that's how I guided them from an actor's perspective, the things that I look for in a script. Yeah.
So my approach was first to get to know them and meet them on their level, because they ranged from beginner to intermediate. So getting to know what brought them into the industry in the first place was a key thing for me, because anywhere in the world, let me not just say here, if you choose to be a filmmaker by choice, you're signing up for a life of challenge and pushback, especially from loved ones, society. So seeing why they would want to risk everything, creating and sharing their creative voice with the world was a key component for me. Once I established who they wanted to be, what their creative identity was, then I would guide them along that path. So when they presented their projects, it was easy to go back and say, how is this reinforcing who you want to be as a creative in the industry? And also just encouraging them to roll that dice on their creative vision. Because the thing that I've suffered with in the past is running into a mentor who just makes me second guess myself. Like, do I really know what I'm doing? Is this idea too crazy? Maybe I should play it safe. So a big component for me was just encouraging them to like, no, risk it all. You're the only person in the world that can create this story this way. It's like, yeah. So really my approach was to encourage them as much as possible to be themselves, to write badly with pride, fail their way to the top. And of course, yeah, I did give them a couple of like technical documents to like help them out with like how to structure a pitch, write synopses, log lines. And a key thing that I like learned recently that I shared with them was how to build and maintain tension from scene to scene, and not just have these empty pockets of exposition where we're waiting for something to happen. So I prioritized any one of the contestants I met. I just prioritized teaching them about tensions. Like, do you have tension in your scene? Do you have tension in each scene from beginning to end? Because we live in a world where there's so much content. So I can click in the span of a second. I can click away and like watch something else. So I love that they internalized that and they rose to the challenge, and I am super excited to see what they came up with.
I have been able to do that, yes. I have worked with many of the actors. I am a guiding angel specificated to the actors, but however, I'm like I work all around. So I have been able to like focus on their acting processes, their acting techniques, and how they're going to, and just enlightening them more about those nitty-gritties of performance that many people, even outside of the OAH, miss. I have sat with them one-on-one. I have rehearsed them. I have like one-on-one. I mean, completely sitting together and just unboxing these characters of theirs or these stories of theirs. These great narratives. They're amazing stories, by the way. So I have taught them a little more about acting techniques and that they were unaware of, and that's played a part in many of their performances. And even those that do script writing, together with my colleague Joel, we have helped them understand how to properly weave through great narratives, yeah, or tell great stories.